I have been super busy in May and I'm going to be really busy in June as well. So I thought we'd move away from the sewing space and have some girly sewing chat. Hi there, I'm Christine, the Gemini Stitcher, and yes, we're not in my sewing space today. The reason is I am in full on scrap busting mode and the sewing space is an absolute tip. But I'm in scrap busting heaven because in June I'm dedicating the whole of the month to getting rid of all my sewing scraps. But we'll talk about that in more detail in a little bit. I bought a new sewing machine. I have mentioned it before. It's the pfaff Creative Icon 2. It's an expensive machine, but oh my god, I love it. Yes, I know, I already had a pfaff Creative Icon machine that was reconditioned, but I loved it. I hammered it to death and decided a new one would be a good idea for continuity, not ending up with a machine that was virtually worthless because the stitch count was through the roof. I can make all the excuses I like, but I treated myself to the pfaff Creative Icon 2. So what does the Icon 2 do that my other one didn't? Well, there are three main things that I bought this machine for. It does loads of stuff and I'm still learning. It's going to take me probably a good 12 months if not longer to get to grips with this machine. But the three things that this one does that I'm going to use that the Icon doesn't, well, the first one is it's got a built-in projector. And that means when you're doing embroidery or when you're doing anything really, if you want to sew a straight line, project the straight line on. If you want to do grid quilting, project the grid quilt pattern on. If you're doing embroidery, it'll scan the fabric that's in the hoop and then project the image on so you can move it. So if you're doing embroidery on a pocket, you can move it so it's in the exact right position. You get my drift? It's got a projector. The second thing that this machine does that the Creative Icon doesn't is that it's got AI. Shock horror, I know we all hate AI. It's going to take over the world, but in this instance, it's actually really handy. I can talk to it. If I want to do an embroidery design that's got butterflies in, there are a load of built-in designs already in the machine, and I can just ask it to find butterfly designs and they'll come up on the screen. I've not got to search through everything, get the manual out, find what section it's in. It's instantaneous and I'm quite pleased with that one. The third thing that I've not set up yet is that you can connect it to Alexa. So that's going to be amazing because I'll be able to play my music through my machine and do my sewing. Keep me chilled when I'm doing my embroidery. Probably have to have it up really loud though, won't I? Because the embroidery machine is not quiet. But they're the three things that I'm looking forward or lusting after with this machine, and I've got to get to grips with it. So that was it, my big purchase. And then a few weeks later, I went on to Sew Centre's website because that's where I got the Creative Icon from and the Icon 2. They're really good and they're based in Ripon in the UK, but they will deal with you nationally, not internationally, unfortunately. So they use DPD for all their deliveries and it's really streamlined and straightforward. So I went on and had a look. They do a lot of reconditioned machines and I've been thinking and humming and hawing for quite a while about a cover stitch machine. So I wonder if they've got any babylocks that are reconditioned, because I've got the babylock Victory overlocker and I love it. Anywho, they had the babylock ovation, which is a combination overlocker and cover stitch machine, and I thought, aha, eureka light bulb moment. I haven't got a very big sewing space. If I want a cover stitch machine, where the heck am I going to put it? So I rang them up, had a chat, traded in the Victory, and they've sent me the ovation. I've used it as an overlocker. It is actually better than the Victory, so much more streamlined. It is a bigger machine. I've played around with converting it to a cover stitch machine and backwards and forwards, and that's about as much as I've done with it because I went away on holiday, didn't I? So I need to get to grips with that machine and carry on learning about my pfaff creative icon too. As I said, I then flounced off on a cruise around the Greek islands. Seems like forever ago now, but it was lovely. Weather was a bit iffy, but you know, when you're sightseeing, you don't actually need it baking hot, so you take a chance in May, and that's what we did, but we really enjoyed it. We went to Athens first, and if you've never been to Athens airport, it is probably the worst airport experience that I've had ever, bar none. It wasn't so bad when we arrived, but when you get off the flight, it's a really, really, really long way from the gates to the passport control and baggage claim. When you come back, it was absolutely chaos. We got there 3 hours before we were due to board. The flight was due to leave, and it took us just over 2 hours from arriving without sitting down, without doing anything, no looking around duty frees, to get to the gate. So we just went straight to the gate, 10 minutes, sat there on the flight home, but at least we got our flight. So if you're ever flying to or from Athens, be warned, it's an absolute nightmare. And that was only in May, so God knows what it's like in the height of summer. I'd avoid it like the plague. So when we went away, I'd been busily making cruise wear garments, and I did do a vlog came up while I was away showing you the garments that I made. So I will pop the link for that below. But now that I've worn the garments, I've chosen my top 3 out of the things that I made. The most worn, loved garment of all was the sorata dress from Itch to Stitch. Images of the garments that I'm be wearing them will be popping up here, fingers crossed. So it was the Itch to Stitch sorata dress. Why did I love it? Oh, it just felt amazing. I'd done couture finishes on the inside, get me, and I think that made me feel better about myself. I wasn't really sure about this dress because it cinches it in at the waist with 3 channels of elastic, and it has a frill on the bottom, which I always think when you're vertically challenged isn't a good look. However, I've now changed my mind. How did I get it to work? Well, instead of just shortening the skirt, I decided how much I needed to shorten from the waist to the hem, and then I did 2/3 of that in the skirt and 1/3 of it in the frill, so that it was still balanced. When I've done it before, I just sort of take it out the skirt and then you end up with a bigger frill, and the equation isn't right. So I think by doing that, it actually didn't look too shabby at all. I did a size 4 in a C cup. As I've already said, couture finishes, which you can see on the other vlog. I love Itch to Stitch because they do, on the bodice, they do all the different cup sizes, so you don't have to do any faffing around with a full bust adjustment, so that's great. So I went down a size to what I'd made Itch to Stitch in before. I went down to a size 4, but I went up to a C cup. I'd always done the B cup because I wasn't loving the boobs and was trying to hide them, and it really was not working. So now we're embracing the boobs, accepting that I'm a C-cup, we're doing full bust adjustments but going down a size, and it seems to be working really well at the moment for me. The fabric was from Sew Me Sunshine, absolutely beautiful fabric to work with. If they had it in a different colour, I would snaffle some up. The only thing I had an issue with were the elastic channels. It has 3 elastic channels around the middle, and you get the elastic and thread it all the way round, which was a bit of a mare to do. You do it 3 times. So not if, when I make this dress again, it tells you how to leave little openings in the channels at one of your side seams. I'm going to leave them at both sides. I'm going to divide the elastic in half, thread them through the front, thread them through the back, join them together at both sides instead of at one side, and I'm sure they'll be much easier to put in. So if you're thinking of making the sorata dress or something that's got elastic channels, there's a tip. Don't do the elastic all in one loop, do it in 2 halves and bring it through at either side seam. I'm hoping, well, I know that's going to work a lot better next time. Moving on to garment number 2 that I wore, and it won't be a surprise to any of you when I say it was the Envie dress from Coralie Bijouson. OMG, this dress made me feel so good, I can't explain it. It was a miracle. It's an A-line with a low V-neck, and you can put a bow or a little tab detail there, and I did the gathered sleeve so it gave a little bit of detail there as well. And I just want to make more of these. It's a jersey dress, it's an easy make. The only hard thing about it was where it's this plunging V at the front, you sew in clear elastic, which is never the easiest thing to sew, but it is such a good idea and it makes it all sit really nice and snug. There's no gaping, just looks great, felt great, wore it loads. I made a size small, and I think I took about 4 inches off the length. Fit perfectly. Definitely want to make more of these. Thinking of trying a long sleeved one and a longer length one for the autumn. Let me know, do you think it will work in an autumn dress or is it strictly for summer? Can't decide, but definitely recommend that one. And then the third garment that I made that I wore lots were the pearl Bermuda shorts from Swim Style Patterns. I made these in some rammy cotton linen that you can get from Pound Fabrics. I made it in the raspberry pink colour and coordinated it with a hacked top that I did in the green and pink. That outfit was brilliant, absolutely loved it, and I got some really nice comments on it as well. Loved the Bermuda shorts because short shorts when you've got legs like mine aren't a good idea, so Bermuda just above the knee worked really well. I liked that it didn't have a waistband, it has a waistband facing on these. I've made this pattern as trousers a couple of times, and I think I made a pair of the Bermudas last year, a little cord set that I made last year. I took that with me as well. So I think they are my go-to shorts and trouser patterns, particularly for linen fabric going forward. So they were my 3 favourite makes from May. If you want to see everything that I made in May to go on my cruise, then I will put the link below to that vlog. Go back and watch it. There are quite a few. I think I made about 8 or 9 garments in the end, so it's worth going having a watch. But they were my 3 favourites that I made. So next up, I need to fess up. I'm trying not to buy fabric, and I've failed again. But in May, I've only bought 3 pieces of fabric, and they snuck in right at the very end of the month. When I got back from the cruise, I went back to a place called Cedar Farm, which is near Parbold, Wigan direction. If you're in the northwest and you've not been, go to Cedar Farm. It's well worth a visit. There's some beautiful places to eat. There's a glass blowing workshop. They're all artisan creators, and it's just so interesting. Last time we went into what I'm calling the kimono shop, and it's run and owned by a lady called Joanne Eden. So we went back to see Joanne again, and that's where I failed on the fabric front. So just let me grab what I bought from Joanne's D-stash, because she doesn't sell fabric, so I thought it was safe. But what she does is she buys in from Japan and recycles kimonos. So that's what her shop does in the main. And she uses the kimono embroideries to make pictures with and frames them. She covers sketchbooks, she makes lampshades, she does an awful lot of different stuff. But she had a load of fabric, like we all do, that she'd bought over time and needed to get rid of them. So she was doing a bit of a de-stash in her shop. And that's why I ended up with some are you ready for these? They're all gorgeous. Fabric number one. Look at that baby. It's a satin fabric, and this is not from Japan. There's only about half a metre of it. It's left over, and she gave me this for £5. So I just had to have it. The green is beautiful with that little pop of orange on. As I said, half a metre. What am I going to make with it? I'm going to use it for lining, I think. But if you can think of something that I can use this for, let me know. But absolutely love that to bits. And then I got another piece of the satins that she was getting rid of. And it's got, let me see if I've got this the right way up. And it's got a bit of a Chinese or Japanese theme to this one. Now, there is a metre of this, so I'm thinking that I'll make a nice floaty top in this one for the autumn. And then, the third one that I got, I've had loads of ideas what I'm going to make with this, but I really do think it's going to be either a skirt or trousers and a little matching jacket. There's 3 metres of it, so we'll see how we go. I can get trousers out of 1.5 metres, so she'll get a jacket and trouser set. Look at that. Beautiful. It's gold floral on a cream background. It's probably like a mid-weight linen fabric. I think she bought it to make lampshades with. So I'm not making a lampshade. I'm going to make a pair of trousers and a matching jacket or a skirt. So let me know if you think that will work. Oh, I just need somewhere special to go and wear it though, don't I? We got talking to Joanne about how she got into doing these imports from Japan, and she was telling us that they make these kimonos and they make them all by hand. Every stitch, nothing's done on a machine, it's all done by hand, and the embroideries that she has are absolutely stunning. But what she tends to do, a lot of them come and they're plain black and cream on the inside, and the embroidery is all around the bottom of it. So she cuts that off, and then she's left with these sort of half kimonos. And she gave us some to take to the social. Let me just grab one and then you can see what they look like. Actually, I'll put it on and then you can see it here. So I grabbed one of them and I'm going to use it for my machine embroidery when I want to do something on a black background, or when I want to do something on a cream background. I can use this. It isn't silk, it's satin backed crepe, but it's beautiful quality fabric. The reason I'm not using it for dressmaking is because Steph found out when she washed one of hers that they stink to high heaven when you wash them. It releases the chemicals in the fabric or something. Joanne did warn us, but you know, you think, it'll be right, it won't. So I thought, I'm not washing mine, I'm just going to use them for embroidery and use it when I want a detailed embroidery on a plain background. But it was really interesting chatting to Joanne, and we'll be going back again. So if you go to Cedar Farm, pop in to see Joanne Evans. She's in the main building on the ground floor on the left hand side near the back. Tiny shop, but an Aladdin's cave, and really interesting lady to talk to. So what am I doing in June after all that? Probably need a rest, but no, we're not having a rest, are we? In June I'm scrap busting. If you watch my vlog on Monday, you'll know that I'm going to try not to make any garments in June and just scrap bust for the whole of the month. And I'm being joined in that challenge by one of my Meet 9 ladies, and her channel is called Nurture Handmade. I will pop the link below if you want to go and have a look at the vlogs that she's done already. She's based in the USA and she is really into recycling, repurposing, all that kind of thing. So this is right up her street. Me, on the other hand, I've got a real challenge: not to sew any garments. So on Monday I showed you 10 projects that are scrap busting that I'm going to work my way through in June and hopefully do more. And then at the end of June we're both going to do our reveal vlogs of what we've used our scraps for in June. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's one that we're both working on through the month of June. Now, I'm not going to show you anything that I've made. I've shown you what I'm planning on making, but you'll have to come back at the end of the month to see what I've actually achieved. So with that in mind, if you're not subscribed to my channel, but you'd quite like to have a nosy at that, then hit the subscribe button and help a girl out. I've got just over 6,000 subscribers and I've hit a bit of a plateau, which usually happens when you go past a milestone. So my subscriber count needs a little bit of a jump start. So if you're interested in seeing what I make from my scraps, subscribe and then you'll be notified when my vlog comes out at the end of June. So June is going to be non-garment sewing month. Shock horror, I know. Will I actually manage to achieve it? Well, only time will tell, won't it? With that in mind, if you've got any ideas of what I can use my scraps for, then please put your ideas in the comments below. Help a girl out. I've got more scraps that can ever work through in June. I know I'm not going to get through everything, but I'm going to give it a really good go. So I hope you found that interesting. That's it for today. I'll be back on Monday and we're going to be talking about 3 online fabric shops that I've been looking at and lusting after. So if you're interested in finding some new to you fabric shops that you can shop online with and see what fabrics I'm lusting after on those shops, then join me on Monday. And secret squirrel, there's also going to be a voucher code for one of them, so it's well worth watching that vlog just for the voucher code. That's it for today then. So happy sewing and I will see you all on Monday. Take care. Bye.